So Lawrence, a lot of people out there in the marketplace would see LinkedIn as being predominantly a recruitment tool. Is that where the platform is today?
It's a really good question, because historically that's probably been first people's point of contact with the platform, and it is true that today probably about 60% of global revenue is still within that LinkedIn talent solutions arm, but there's three very, very strong dimensions to LinkedIn as a business. There is still the recruitment side. There's also the sales side. So with tools like Sales Navigator as well, helping companies and individuals in sales and business development to warm up their prospects through using what we call a Sales Navigator. And then there's marketing solutions, and that's the area where we sit as well. And that would be about 20% of global revenue, but by far the fastest growing area of LinkedIn's business.
So Tal, is LinkedIn just a platform for big corporates out there with big budgets looking to achieve their goals?
Sometimes the perception of LinkedIn is a place for the playground for enterprises, but the truth of it is that because we're dealing with digital marketing, even small businesses can get their share of voice pretty easily and organically. The company provides you with enough solutions to tap into every stage of the buyer cycle and really resonate and send your messages across from building awareness to driving direct response to attendees, to events and stuff. And basically everyone can take part in this digital marketing landscape.
In terms of companies looking to succeed on LinkedIn, right? We always look at different platforms and there's certain do's and don'ts on different platforms. Talk us through the do's on LinkedIn.
So on LinkedIn, I think what's very important is the value exchange that you're going to provide to your audience. On that aspect, we recommend our clients to use different types of content. For example, you could use a white paper, you could use webinars, infographics. This will help us to understand what's the content your audience is going to engage with. So we would recommend our clients to publish 2 or 3 times a week. So then we can know what type of content is working the best. So we don't want our audience to publish a white book per week. We have a very specific example of one of our clients that managed to do 45 publications with just one white paper, because he managed to do whole storytelling around that, and that's the value exchange you're going to provide to your audience. We know the newsfeed is kind of a temporary tool we're going to use. So you should, with one post, you're not going to reach the entire audience you want to speak to. So it's very important to increase the frequency of your posting, go broad in terms of your audience as well. And I think we would jump on the don't as well. On that, we would encourage our client to go broad on the audience, because what's going to happen if you want put too many filters in your targeting, you would have a very niche audience. It would increase the cost per click or cost per thousand and limit the reach of your post. So that would be the do's and don'ts on that.
Sometimes you see people on different platforms and they do things that really don't work for that platform, right? Now we know we won't see many furry cats on LinkedIn, and we won't see too many pictures of you on the beach on your LinkedIn profile, but talk us through the other less obvious things that just don't lead to levels of engagement.
To jump on that, I think that's very important. People have different perceptions of the different social media platforms. And one very important thing to keep in mind is sometimes one piece of content that's going to work on Twitter is not going to work on Facebook or LinkedIn. And on that, we found that informative content is the key. People who tend to have commercial or salesy approach with a very low engagement rate on the platform. So the first and the biggest advice we would recommend would to use informative content, informative call to action. Use the function or the job title you're trying to reach out to engage with them. Use some numbers, use some visual content, and that's probably the best thing you could do to reach out to them.
Lawrence, when I think of LinkedIn, I always see it as a business-to-business tool. So I never see the real relevance in terms of B2C with it, LinkedIn. Is that the right way to be looking at LinkedIn? Or does LinkedIn provide brands with a B2C opportunity?
Yeah, it's a very fair point. And so I think historically, yes, LinkedIn has grown up as that platform for reaching the professional audience. And it still is, by far and away the number one place to reach that professional B2B audience. But we've also seen a lot of growth in the kind of high-end B2C engagement as well. So, it's a place where, for instance, we've had the likes of BMW, Audi, a lot more luxury goods starting to reach out on LinkedIn. So if you are, say, Rolex, for example, and you want to speak to people who've maybe just got a job promotion, or maybe you've just moved to a job in a different country, we've got lovely little custom groups that advertisers can now reach these kind of B2C audience. So the more that we get into behaviors and attitudes, the more we're able to dig out really nice insights for B2C customers as well. And yeah, definitely more the high-end B2C audience. I mean, there was some really nice stats last year from the Ipsos Business Elite study, and it showed that there's a higher proportion of LinkedIn users that might drive a more expensive car. They might have a fine wine collection at home, that kind of thing. So it's these sort of independent studies that are giving us a lot more insights into the LinkedIn user, maybe moving not completely away, but moving into that the high-end B2C space as well.
So when we look at the different platforms, we're very interested in where they're going, not necessarily where they are today, because when we look at platforms today, a lot of them have evolved from where they were 2 or 3 years ago. So the question to you is, where is the vision and where do we think LinkedIn will be in 2 or 3 years' time? So we can see as kind of as entrepreneurs and people who work with SMEs, where the relevance of the platform will be for them in 2 to 3 years' time.
So LinkedIn's mission is to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. We go about that by creating digital representation of individuals in their profiles, mapping out the different companies around there, the jobs they're offering, the skills that the individuals will have to acquire in order to succeed and get accepted into these jobs. And above all of that, we also wrap it with the educational infrastructure. What establishments are there that are offering this kind of education so you can prepare yourself for the workforce of the future, not of the past. And as the marketing solutions business lines, our mission is to be the most effective platform for marketers and advertisers to connect with professionals.
I think the changes we've seen probably over the last couple of years are only going to accelerate. So LinkedIn really has turned from being a site that's perceived as being very much for recruitment and hiring. It's completely flipped on its head just recently, and now in fact there are 7 times as many pages of content consumed on a monthly basis as there are pages about hiring and recruitment, and that's only going to continue. So you can now engage with content through company pages, through groups, on the Pulse app. With the acquisition of lynda.com earlier this year, there's now professional training content that people can access on LinkedIn. You've got SlideShare, which is a great resource. So it's really heavily moving into that content space, and that's only going to continue to grow. And there are apps being developed by LinkedIn all the time for those different silos where they're really, really strong, like groups, for example, and with Pulse News. So that will definitely continue. And as LinkedIn gets a lot more global, the growth over in APAC region, in China and so on, you're going to see it's going to be very, very mobile focused. There's still quite a good share of desktop usage on LinkedIn, not least because it's something that people can have open 9 to 5 at their desktop. But certainly now we'll be moving from not even just mobile first markets, but mobile only markets where people's interaction with LinkedIn will purely be on the mobile. So I'd expect some growth in that. I expect some growth in education, as we mentioned, and certainly the whole content space is going to continue to rocket.
So Tal, talk to me about self-service. Do entrepreneurs and business owners, do they need to engage with teams within LinkedIn to kind of work on their goals and objectives? Or where is the self-service function for SME businesses to help them do it themselves?
Though we encourage people to use the premium services and use the LinkedIn team, it's not a pure necessity. The two main pillars of using LinkedIn is first your professional identity online, who you are, what you do, things you've published, your online CV. That's basically the root of a lot of LinkedIn activity. And the other pillar is the LinkedIn company page. This is the professional identity of a company, where it communicates with its followers. Both of these things can be done independently by entrepreneurs. They don't need anyone from the LinkedIn team supporting them. So you can grow your company page organically, authentically, by yourself, and still maintain a really, really good and solid, updated professional identity online. With these two assets, you can basically go on and either engage with the premium accounts team or just continue and grow your business locally and organically.